feel that knock? I feel like Rocky in this one, baby. Let's go. Alright, check it. Blast from the past, back from the future. So if I pull the trigger in the past, you know you and your future. I'm still hustling, still hugging the block. The referee to the shit, I'm still calling them shots. I can't be stopped, that's what I told you. I'm living my life like a box of Crayolas. I'm cutting up white, smoking that green. Purple color pens, I'm still making this cream. I'm so sick, check my throat quick. My wrist light up a room like a handful of glow sticks. I'm like spoiled milk, the kid's gone bad. Dennis the minister, pen touches the pad.
Man, oh man. Welcome to the Rick A Show. Obviously, everyone was watching Game 6 tonight, Knicks Hawks. Please, if you're tuning in on Kick, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, wherever it is, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. There's a couple things I gotta say, right? I was not sold on Mike Brown. Never happened, right? I was very critical of him the last few days, especially when the Knicks went down 2-1. They went down 2-1 in this series. Let's not forget that. I didn't. You started to see where Tibbs was a valuable commodity to this team, right? The guys weren't playing the way they should have. Everyone, although you felt it and knew it that they were a superior team to Atlanta, you weren't seeing it. Besides game 1, then they go down 2-1 and they go back to Atlanta, and they lost those games by a point or two. But what happened tonight couldn't have been drawn up more perfect for them. And what happened in the last 3 games, I've never seen, like, yes, the Celtics series last year was phenomenal, coming back, 22 games in a row, and then down 14 or 17 or whatever it was on the third one. But the fact that they were down 2-1, played well in game 4, played exceptional in game 5, and then made a statement in game 6. And you knew coming into game 6, you're a Knicks fan, what you were praying for was a win, right? First of all, win, knock them off tonight. Do not allow them to extend this series. That's one. You wanted them to come out early and kind of like break Atlanta and take them out of the game as soon as possible. No one would have expected what happened tonight. No one. I think that's an NBA record. If I'm wrong, correct me. But I was putting my kids to sleep, so I didn't really get to see the first the first quarter. I tuned in during the second quarter. I was like, wow. If this pace continues and the way they're playing, it's going to be an early night for Brunson, early night for Cat, early night for our starting 5. Our bench guys are going to get a lot of playing time if this is done correctly and managed correctly. And we'll leave this series unscathed and not extending it. One of the problems I had last year was when they played Detroit, I felt like that Detroit series took a lot out of them. And then it took even a lot more to get past Boston. So they were not, I'm not saying they were broken, but those were 2 really hard-fought series. And the year before is the same thing, hard-fought series. The Knicks, which I would have preferred, like, this series goes 5 games, I would have been okay with it. A sweep would have been an ideal situation, but I'm glad Atlanta beat them those 2 games. They kind of got like socked in the mouth and brought back to reality like, hey, if you don't play the way you're supposed to be playing and you don't play up to your actual standard, then there's a chance you could lose this series. When Atlanta went up 2-1, I was like, mm. This does not feel good right now. It really doesn't. But I think Mike Brown and the coaching staff, they deserve some credit. But I feel like since these guys have been doing this for 3 or 4 years, they were able to hold each other accountable, able to flip that switch that everybody was wondering if that's what they were doing. Because throughout the season this year, every Knick fan was just like, yo, just get me to the playoffs with a healthy roster and let's see what they can do. In the beginning of the season, you want to see how Mike Brown was going to make this team better or different than Tibbs, how he was going to distribute the minutes, how he was going to manage the bench, how he was going to manage the personalities of players. But there was a couple times during the season where I'm like, man, I think that the players are really he's too much of a friendly player type of coach, and I kind of questioned if maybe he's just like a great assistant coach and not. I said it on the podcast, I think 2 episodes ago. I was like, maybe he's and Jason used the comparison where Steve Spagnuolo, amazing defensive coordinator, and has won multiple Super Bowls, but not a great head coach. And that's the case in the NFL for a lot of guys. That also holds true in the NBA. There could be a great assistant coach, but just when it comes to sitting in that main seat, it might be different. And it's obvious Mike Brown wasn't their first choice to replace to Tom Thibodeau. Um, some people like the hire. I questioned it throughout the season. Um, I like the moving the ball more. Uh, what's up, Jason? If you want to join me, you can. I'll send you the link. I like moving the ball more. I like some of the changes he made to the offense. Um, we always knew we had a closer, we had a dog, we had a captain. Um, we always knew we had like Josh Hart is Josh Hart. You know what you're gonna get with him. OG as well. There's been a question mark on Cat and Bridges. You know what Cat's ceiling is and could be, right? Defensively, he's a liability. We all know that. Him and Brunson on the floor together, they could be on the floor together, but it can't be for too long, right? But offensively, and a couple years ago, I think it was like 5, 6 years ago, Cat said he could be the best offensive big man to ever play this game. And a lot of people laughed at it. A lot of people laughed at it. Let's go Knicks. That's correct. But I don't know. Like, Cat is a very good playmaker, very good passer. Obviously, he could shoot the three. Um, he could back a guy down. He could score off the glass. Has I wouldn't say he has the best mid range game, but it's there if he needs it. Um, and he commands a double team. If you're a team that does not have size, the Hawks obviously did not have size, and I feel like that was a common theme last year. Like there was a couple teams that did not have an answer for Cat. So if Mike Brown watched the series last year, right? And a lot of Knicks fans were thinking this last year. They were like, "Man, if we could just get Cat more touches, even during this season, if we could get him more touches and we could get him involved early, because he's gonna manhandle some of these teams. Like there really isn't a way you stop him. If you stop him and you put two on him, well, guess what? The Knicks have shooters. He could just pass it out, and he's a very good passer. He's got really good um, court vision. If he comes outside, then you got to get your big man out or your best defender out because he can shoot the three. And the Knicks have some guys that could cut and get to the basket, get some shots. If you could get more out of Cat, and you know what you have with Brunson, regardless of what the situation. And Brunson had a fantastic game 5. He was subpar the other games. He really didn't have like an exceptional series, and he didn't need to. Um, but I think the recipe for success for the Knicks moving forward is getting Cat and OG involved early, trying to get the most out of Bridges in those first 2-3 quarters. Uh, Run some of the offense through Jalen, run the offense through Cat, and in if you get to the fourth quarter, don't go to Jalen time till you're at 4 minutes. Because I believe a mistake that the Knicks commonly make all the time is not giving Cat some fourth quarter like plays or time, and devoting it strictly to Brunson, which rightfully so. The one of the best closers in the NBA, bar none. Uh, if you saw Game 5, that's just normally what he does in the playoffs. So, but I feel like a mistake we make is we go to that type of game way too early in the fourth. And it happened last year in some playoff series. I was like, yo, why aren't we going to Cat early in the fourth? Like, why are we automatically going to a lot of ISO ball, letting Jaden handle the rock? I don't have a knock on Brunson, right? He's gotten us where we're at. And in the fourth quarter tight games, that's the guy that I want to have the ball in his hand. But I feel like we need to, and Cat was like, people wanted to get rid of Cat. A lot of Knicks, but I feel like we need to, if we're smart and we utilize what we got, right? Because we got OG. OG's just a gamer, man. He's a dog. He plays exceptional in the playoffs. Mitch is fantastic. Um, and I feel like Mikal Bridges in the next series is going to have a There's going to be a game where people are going to be like, that's the Mikal Bridges game. Whether it's in the next series or one of these games in this playoffs, Mikel's gonna have his game, and people are gonna be like, okay, I see. And it's gonna come at a pivotal point because last year against the Celtics, he was a big piece of why we came back, um and he had his moments. But you know, we got Josh Hart. He's gonna give you effort. He's gonna fill up the stat sheet. I feel like Cat's gonna get a couple triple doubles this in this playoff run. Any given night, it could be any Knicks moment, and I feel like we need to play like that. Um, yes, try to manage the minutes better. That's something Tibbs got a huge knock on. I feel like the kid we got from San Antonio is a sleeper. I think Alvarado could be a big energy guy, similar to what what's the guy that we drafted and then he went to Indiana. Forgetting his name. Really liked him too. He's just Alvarado's a New Yorker through and through, a dog energy type of guy. And when once he's in the game, he's just going to play his game and make things happen, sneak up on guys, get some steals, push the pace, um, and bring that fight out. If there isn't a fight from the Knicks on that game, you put Alvarado in the game, and he'll flip that energy switch quickly. So I think that's his purpose in this playoff run. Kolik's gonna be there. He's gonna spell out um, Brunson from time to time. I think Ducey needs to be better with the basketball. I thought he was very sloppy in this series with the basketball. But he's proven him like he's proven himself to us, so he should be better. And Mitchell Robinson is Mitchell Robinson, like. But I'm happy with the results. I'm happy with the series. I feel like the Hawks winning those two games put the Knicks on notice. Like, hey, wake the fuck up! Like, this is not going to be a cakewalk. You guys are going to have to earn these victories, um and you're gonna have to play and get to a different level. I felt like they unlocked something tonight. They unlocked something in that offense and in that team. I think every guy in that roster believes that they could be the best team on the court any given night. Um, what's up, everybody? And it was just great to see. I mean, I've been a Knicks fan since 1990, and I've never seen a game like that where we dominated. Um, and again, like our captain didn't have the greatest game ever. Towns had a triple double, but they just played and unlocked an offense we haven't seen in a while. And it was really good to see. And I hope it continues to happen. And again, to me, it lined up perfectly, right? Did you want to sweep? Yes, but I only wanted a sweep if they played well in every single game. They played well the first game, and they kind of like got into this mode that we've seen them get into before in the previous two playoff series, previous two seasons in the playoffs. They got into this mode where they just like, you know, one of those games reminded me of the Halliburton shot when it went all the way up and then they shot back down. Like, I was like, oh my God, here we go again. Like, we got to play better than this. We got to, when we got to get a lead, start the game good, push the pace, play exceptional defense. And if we got a team down, we got to keep them down. We can't take the foot off the gas, and we can't play down. We can't play down to a competition. Now, am I in no way, shape, or form or fashion disrespecting the Hawks? But you can clearly see the Knicks are a much superior team. I get it. Atlanta played exceptional the last 2 or 3 months in the season. They built something down there. They're going to need some size, and I believe they need another star. People keep saying, "Oh, they need size, they need X, Y, and Z." They need another star as well. Um, so them losing those two games, it was good medicine. Also felt it was good medicine for Mike Brown. Mike Brown needed to figure some things out, and I think they made some adjustments. And I feel very confident with the adjustments they've made. And this game, great. You won two games, you tie up the series. Uh, you win a third game, you go up 3-2. You go to game six. You want to put them out. You don't want to extend this series. You start off the game the right way. You take a huge commanding lead, and then you cruise the rest of the game. And then your starters, I think they play like 28 minutes, maybe less. They get off the floor, and some of your bench guys get some minutes. It's really good. Games like this is good to get some of your bench guys going and getting them some actual game action and getting them some minutes because you don't know you're going to need some of those guys down the road. You know, you're going to need Alvarado. You're going to need Clarkson to be hot at certain points in time. Soshin looks like a really good player, and that was a great pickup. Um, and Kolik's got to get some burn because I feel like if Ducey is sloppy with the ball, they have to make an adjustment. And if Kolik's playing pretty good, they should put him in the game. Um, I'm very happy with the series. And we didn't have to labor like the last two seasons through this first series. Now we could sit, watch the I currently got the Denver game. I should really be watching the Boston Philly game. But we could sit and just wait to see what happens in the other side. And we're the first team to advance. So in the East, that's pretty cool. You get to rest. I mean, I was so happy my starters got to rest. No one got hurt, and we move on unscathed. Did Atlanta give us a scare? Yes, but it was a scare that I felt like what was needed to wake this team up. And you know what? For Shaq and all these guys who were saying, "Oh, Atlanta's going to win the series," where are you now? Where's that? I want to see that post game. 140-89. That is insane. I've never seen I'd never seen a Knick game where, and I've seen a lot, and I never was nervous throughout this entire game. Even when they took that huge lead, I was like, it's a lot of points to come from behind. And if they come back and they win this game, then we don't deserve to even advance. That was only the only thing I said. Like they really I never they broke that team from the get-go of this game. And now we get to watch what happens with Boston and Philly. We get to watch what happens with Orlando and Detroit. Detroit just won a game. Now it's 3-2. Um, and the Cavs series as well. And I think the Knicks also send a message to the other teams in the playoffs. Like, we're a dangerous team. Any night we're firing on all cylinders. We have a shot. We got a chance. I think there's something really special, and I think that they're just so experienced, and they've been doing this for such a long time now. Like, the core of this team. Um, I think they just want to take that next step, and they have. They've been progressing every year, so it'd be nice if we could get to the finals some way somehow. And for me, if they get to the finals, that just shows another step of improvement. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals the year before. They got to the semis the year before. The semis before the year before that. So it's just a natural progression of things. And if this team, this current incarnation of the Knicks, ends the championship drought in New York, it's just going to be truly special. And I think if that does happen, Brunson's getting a statue in front of MSG because this all started with him. He was the first piece that when we got him, it just things started to move in a different direction. And then when we made the trade for OG, and I'll never forget what Juan Bago told me when we made that trade. He's like, "Yo, I was it was quickly and RJ Barrett." So I believed, like, man, I think I would have loved to kept one of those two guys and traded somebody else. And Bago was like, "Yo, OG's a scary good. It's gonna be it's gonna be a different type of team. Like, I think this is the type of trade we needed." He's like, let's just wait and see. And that January was incredible. I think they were 14-2 in January. So it's just very good to see, man. Especially at a moment right now where, it's no secret the New York Mets are a complete embarrassment. And I was watching the game today and I was like, hey, maybe they might pull this through. And you throw a changeup and it hangs to a guy that's just playing fantastic right now, um, and you lose the game. I stand by my statement. The Mets are not going to turn this thing around until some real changes are made. I feel like, yes, a change in the managerial seat is gonna have to happen, but I also feel like maybe some trades might have to happen and some call-ups might have to happen. You got to shake the roster up. I think there's, excuse me, the energy needs to change a little bit in that locker room. Besides the manager coming in and changing the energy, I think you need to bring in some guys also that shift the dynamic and the energy in that locker room. Um, and I feel like on paper, they're a talented team on paper, but personality wise and personnel wise, um, it doesn't match and it doesn't fit. And that's something analytics can't give you. And I feel like that's why um, you still need the human element to the game. It's great to have analytics. It's great to have something to resort to and look at numbers, but you still need a feel for the game. You need to know how to lead and inspire your players to be competitive, because there's going to be nights where your guys are not going to want to play. I mean, it just is what it is, and especially right now when there's on such a downslide and such a losing streak, um, you need a manager that's going to be in their face and is going to push the right buttons to get them going again, and make some changes and some switches and tinker and see what works and what doesn't, and what is working, amplify that somehow, some way. I mean, he's done some lineup changes and stuff like that, but I feel like again, I don't know. I'm not in the locker room. I know. I'm only judging from afar, and I'm only judging by how Mendoza's press conferences are and some of the statements that are made by the players. But it doesn't seem like he's they lose. It seems like, hey, tough one today. I appreciate the effort. Blah blah blah. It doesn't seem like he's in there like saying we're losing because of this. Let's do this, let's do that, let's try something. He's not you got to change whatever funk you're in. You got to do everything and anything possible to move it, to get yourself out of that funk, right? um Maybe have your guys come do some extra work. uh Maybe can figure out who's I mean, one thing I see, I think Luke Weaver is a gamer, right? I know he gave the home run today, but I feel like Weaver should be the Mets closer. Williams should be a 7 or 8 guy, and he needs to shake up the locker room some way somehow. So it really has been dreadful, to the point where some of the Yankee fans that troll me every day now just feel sorry. Like, bro, this is crazy to watch at this point. Like, I don't even want to. They're not even throwing jabs at me at this point. They're just checking in on me mentally at this point. Like, yo, today I got a message like, this is crazy. Like, I expected them to be bad, but not this bad. And then when they lost, that same guy texts me back like, yo, again, I feel terrible for you. I'm not even trying to get at you. So to see the Knicks playing the way they've been playing, it takes my mind off of that. And I said it, like, in order for the Mets to get me back, like, I'm still a Met fan. I'm gonna cheer them. I'm gonna wear my hat and I watch some of the games, but I'm just numb. Like, there's nothing that would excite me from them unless they win 10 straight, 12 straight, 13 straight. They show some real resilience and some real gut and some fire and some passion, because they just look defeated. And it's just really awful to watch. It's like heartbreaking to watch, you know? Um, and they've been bad for a really long time. And you figured, you get Steve Cohen as your owner. This guy's going to spend some money, and Now it's worse than the Wilpons because now you're like, what's the excuse? Before it was the Wilpons, but Steve has spent some money, and what's the excuse? What is it? It's just awful to see, man. So yeah, they got to go on a run. They got to do something to get me back. I'm not saying I'm not a Met fan no more, but it's hard to watch at this point in time. So you're gonna see me wearing my Knicks hat and watching my Knicks games and trying to get some positivity in my life because tonight was a much needed um, win for me, and the way they played their game was fantastic. And after this afternoon and watching that Met game, I don't know if you can even call it a game. And last night, oh my God, last night shellacking. So this was much, excuse me, much needed and much welcome by the Knicks. Thank you so much. So, anyways, forget about the Mets. Super excited. The Knicks won in fantastic fashion. Our starting five is healthy. They won by a ton of points. Our bench got to play. We made a statement. We get to sit back now. We get to see who our next opponent is. And I hope we don't have to get punched in the mouth again, like Atlanta did to us, where they won 2 games. I hope the Knicks come in firing, wanting to get the next round over with as quick as possible to move on to the next round. I think they should be laser focused from not here on out. And I'm excited to see how they play against whoever it may be, Philadelphia or Boston. The next series is going to be phenomenal because we hate both of those teams. So that Philly crowd, if it's Philly, Jalen's going to murder you guys on that floor. Excuse me. If it's Boston, we've been in your nightmares for the last year. So should be a good series to watch. But yeah, I look forward to it. Anyways, just wanted to come on and vent. I'm probably not going to be able to go to sleep because it's such a good game. The Rick H Show airs Mondays at 9 o'clock. The 2 a.m. crew airs Tuesdays at 9 o'clock. Catch us then. You can follow me at It's Rick H on Instagram. You can follow at The Rick H Show on Instagram. And you can follow at The 2 a.m. crew on Instagram. And you can follow my co-host at I Am Jason Enrique. Until then, have a great night, New York Knicks fans. See you guys next week.
You feel that knock? I feel like Rocky in this one, baby. Let's go. Alright, check it. Blast from the past, back from the future. So if I pull the trigger in the past, you and your future. I'm still hustling, still hugging the block. The referee to the shit, I'm still calling them shots. I can't be stopped, that's what I told you. I'm living my life like a box of Crayolas. I'm cutting up white, smoking that green. Purple color pens, I'm still making this cream. I'm so sick, check my throat quick. My wrist light up a room like a handful of glow stick. I'm like spoiled milk, the kid's gone bad. Then it's the minute my pen touches the pad.